Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nathan, aka Stumpster, and I am going to be your host this evening. And this is going to be the first official EIR Shoutcast. Hopefully there will be many more. And today you just have me. I don't have a co-host yet. I'm looking for one. If you would like to apply, there are a couple of requirements. You need a good microphone, you need to have a good voice, and you need to have plenty of free time. So, quick rundown for those of you who might not play EIR. There are two teams, in this case the Axis and Allies, the Americans and Wehrmacht. The British and Panzer Elite are not yet in Europe in ruins. They are supposed to come in soon. Now, in this game, the Allied players are attacking an Axis-defended city. So these Axis players will have 3 minutes to set up any defenses they can manage. The Allied players will then have to try and push them out or destroy their company. You may notice that there are no flags everywhere in fields for anyone to capture. That is because Europe in Ruins is not based on the resource capturing system. There are no bases either. All of your companies are controlled on the Europe in Ruins website. Yes, there is nothing to worry about except to capture territories, which is done by infantry just being inside a sector. But what do sectors do? Well, it's pretty easy. The sectors basically allow you to increase your population. The more sectors you have, the more units you get on the field. The less sectors your opponents have, the less units they have on the field. So the defenders are at a pretty good advantage on this because they can control so many sectors prior to the attackers even getting on map. Now, it will only matter if the defenders can hold this position, because at the very early part of the game, the territories do not do a whole lot. However, at about the 10 and 20 minute marks, they begin to rise up at how powerful they are and how much they affect the battle. In this case, the Axis players are only earning maybe half of a population point per minute. However, if they control this same amount of territory, at about 20 to 30 minutes in, they will be gaining 2 or possibly 3 population points per minute, which is a very large advantage over the attacking team. It looks like one Allied player is on the field. He has infantry company, so he has an ability that lets him come on before the 3-minute timer is up. You'll notice that it's only at about 2:45 right now. The Axis players have set up multiple machine guns and mortars inside this town. It's going to be hell for Allied players to even get close. And the Allied players, they bring in a jeep, do some basic scouting, and it looks like Bonte is just going to drive his Puma right into their spawn, see what they're bringing out. It's going to be pretty effective against nothing more than this jeep. It misses every shot. Wow, that's an amazing jeep right there. The rest of the Allied players should be coming in a minute now, and he brings in a Pershing right off the bat. For those of you that don't play EIR, this is really a surprise move because usually armor players that bring in heavy armor, the Pershing costs quite a bit of population. He is not going to have infantry to back it up. That's a very surprising move, but against these Pumas it could turn out to be very effective. On the flip side, it does not give them a lot of capturing capability. Oh, and it looks like it's going to line up a shot and miss completely. Gotta love the phasing bug there. The Axis players are laughing at the Pershing on the field. Although I don't see what's so funny. They can't really deal. Another miss, and it knocks out a rifleman. The Puma's just running in circles around him now. Another miss. The Puma takes splash damage, but nothing more. Looks like it's going to pull off. Knows it can't really damage the Pershing. And Dovka says he's going to call in a V1 to try and hit the Pershing. That's a surprise move. He tells his teammate to move into it. Try and get the Pershing to follow right into the path of the V1. A Pershing misses again. And the V1 comes down and knocks the Pershing out of the battle. That's a very, very damaging tactic right there, because without a Pershing, an allied armor player is seriously hurting. Looks like there's an airborne player setting up a wall of sandbags in this northern territory. But that's not going to be very effective, because this entire forest area is only one sector. If he moves down and attacks here or here, it could be effective. But if he's just standing there, I don't see that being a very good use of manpower. Those Pumas are still just running all over the place. These poor riflemen are just going to be destroyed. They're running. It doesn't look like they've got sticky bombs. The Puma's just going to be able to take them out. And it's just mowing them down with impunity. For those of you that don't know, this Europe in Ruins actually maintains unit veterancy if they are able to get off map. So this Puma may hit Vet 1, and if it stays on map, or if it can get off the map successfully, it will stay Vet 1 for all future battles. A situation like this is very, very good for someone to rank up their units so that they can become more powerful over time. And you aren't seeing things. That Rifleman group actually does have one less population than it should. It was at 4 men, but took up only 3 population. All General Infantry and EIR take up 5 pop. That's Grenadiers, Volksgrenadiers, and Riflemen. And hopefully, pretty soon, British Infantry sections. It was determined to make that more balanced approach. The Riflemen only take up 5, while the Grenadiers also take up 5. Looks like the Allied players are setting up mortars on the top end here, trying to get the Axis teams out of the town. And that machine gun is just going to bite the dust here. We've got an AT gun setting up, but it is not going to be able to catch this Puma in time. It misses again. That Puma looks like it's going to circle strafe, or not. It's just going to run. That's surprising. With no other AT on the field, I was kind of surprised at that move. The Axis players are just running a Shrek up into all these riflemen. I don't know why, and there's a machine gun setting up. They're down. They take out the Jeep, but they're not going to make it out alive. And they died. That's going to be a very major thing if the Axis players cannot retrieve that Shrek, because it could be very deadly in an Allied player's hands. They pick it up, but a firestorm coming in on top of all of these heavy weapons takes out the mortar the very first hit. Machine gun takes a hit, the other mortar retreats off map. There's nothing going here for Allied players. They cannot set up a base. That Shrek retreats from the Puma without getting a shot off successfully. And it's going to get chased all the way to spawn. The machine gun also gets off. They'd rather retreat than lose their machine gun. It's becoming very difficult here for the Allied players to really make a grab for land against these Axis units. Mortar just destroying that poor team in the house there, and a Croc comes on map. That's going to be huge, or it could be huge. There's very little Axis AT on the field except for these Stormtroop Shrekies. Those are going to be nasty to deal with. And a machine gun, and the strafing run does nothing. Takes out a single man, but the Allies know that they're there. Now the question is he going to still... Yes, he is still going to use his Croc in a very, very offensive manner. He should expect those Storm Shrekies to just come right up to him. And they do. They get all 3 shots off. All 3 hit. That Croc is at nothing. One more Storm Shrek and that thing's out. But it looks like he's going to be able to get away from the Shreks. Was not able to really kill anything with the Croc, though. That's a very, very weak use of the Crocodile. It could not even decrew that machine gun that it drove by. And it looks like it's going to retreat to this airborne base over here. The Axis players finally realize that it's there. It may get that Grenadier squad and finish him off, and it looks like it will. Yep, he's set on fire. He drops the LMG. And another strafing run against these Vet 3 and Vet 1 Stormtroopers does not do anything. They're going to successfully get out of there and stay as an effective fighting force on the field, while these allied infantry players are going to try and help their teammate out. But it looks their infantry are just getting suppressed and pinned all over the place. They cannot empty that church of that machine gun. It is just killing them now.